welcome to the 4th episode of Fantasyland. I'm Matt Sharamita.
And I'm the most knowledgeable fantasy guru, Ryan Skinner.
Is that a self-proclaimed nickname over there, Mr. Skinner?
Well, you were the one who wrote the script for tonight.
That's a fair point. Well, that's not what we're talking about tonight, because we were talking about fantasy football. We have a lot to cover from the last 2 weeks between high and low performances, some unexpected big games from not-so-big names, and a fantasy game between Skinner and I that came down to the last yard.
Matt, tell me, was Tommy Tremble the X Factor?
Well, Ryan, let's just say I wouldn't be picking him up on this week's waivers.
Well, if it's not Tommy Tremble, who should we be picking up?
One guy I'd have my eye out for is the Dobb father himself. It's Josh Dobbs. I mean, he's probably taken up in most of these leagues right now, but he's still available in 35% of them. That's for the quarterback 7, that's not bad. He's 24.9 points 2 weeks ago, 25.1. Since joining Minnesota, he's looked really, really good. He's been loving T.J. Hockenson. I think he'll love Justin Jefferson once he makes his return. Probably, well, I don't want to say probably because I'm not sure, but hopefully this week Justin Jefferson comes back. And during his time with Arizona, he still had some really, really solid games. So Josh Dobbs, kind of under the radar for his QB7 performance. I think there's a lot of people who could be looking towards a guy like Dobbs, and they just are avoiding him. So I'd go pick him up. Like, if you got Kyler Murray, like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why? Go get Josh Dobbs. Come on now.
Yeah, absolutely. Up next, I would say I got Brandon Cooks. He just put up 32 points. Absolutely balled out that game. I would say he's built some chemistry with Dak Prescott. He's looking a lot better, more comfortable. The week before he had an off game, but the week before that he put up another 14 points, which is not too bad for what you're gonna expect to get out of him. He's gonna be playing on Thanksgiving in a couple weeks before our next show, so that should be exciting. So if you're looking for somebody to pick up and play for the Thanksgiving games, think about Brandon Cooks. He's averaging 10 points per game, and obviously that's elevated because of that 32 points the week before, but go pick him up.
I agree, and I'm going to switch things over to a tight end here. Guy I'm not too high on, but with how scarce the waiver wire was this week, I got to go with my boy Move. It's Pat Freiermuth. He returned to practice off the IR today. A lot of people dropped him after week 4. He's finally back and available in 55% of leagues on Sleeper. Sneaky good last year. I mean, he was a top 10 tight end in half the games, and his only downfall really is the volume. 4 targets in 3 games, so 4-1, 4-4 for his last 4 games. I don't know. He's very touchdown dependent, so I'm not super high on him, but he was very solid last year. I would go pick him up if he's available.
Yeah, absolutely. Another sneaky name is Trenton Irwin. He went off last week. I mean, by going off, it was a respectable amount for what he is. He's 14 points last week while T. Higgins was out. T. Higgins will be out again. They announced it today. And he's honestly looking like a goal line threat. They were within the 5. And instead of giving it to Mixon or dumping it off to Mixon or throwing it to, whoever, they threw it to Irwin. And they did it again, but he didn't score, so he might have been looking at like a 20-plus point day. So with Higgins out again, he might just do that. He's also got a high-scoring matchup against the Ravens, so you know what? They're going to duke it out. Go for Trenton Irwin. Yeah.
Yeah, no, at first I made kind of a stank face at you, and then you justified the selection. I don't hate it. But, a lot of young guys still on this waiver list. They're still trying to make an impact in the NFL. I know we don't typically talk dynasty leagues, but we should acknowledge this long list of stars waiting to be born. First one I want to get your take on is Treylon Burks.
Yeah, I honestly do like Treylon Burks. He has not been doing well since he's been drafted. He was drafted 18th, though, in the draft, and the number 1 right now is DeAndre Hopkins. And as much as I love him, I've loved him for years, he's over 30 years old now, so he is aging. He's aging there. Not everybody can be Adam Thielen putting out top numbers at the age of 33. So he'll get out of there, and Treylon Burks will be able to take over, as well as them not being focused around the run because Derrick Henry is also getting older. The next one that we got to talk about has got to be DTR, who's starting for the Browns. What do you think, and will he do it?
Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I don't know if he'll do it. I mean, he's going to have to get the job done. Deshaun Watson after the season ended with a broken shoulder. But Fifth rounder out of UCLA, not a lot of expectations for him, but, a lot being put on him. Last time he got the start, 19 for 36, 121 yards, but 3 interceptions without a touchdown. He has to do better. I mean, doesn't have much competition. P.J. Walker threw 5 interceptions in his last 3 games played. So, floor is kind of like down here. I don't know how he'll do. I hope he does well. So for you though, we're gonna talk about Jameson Williams. I'd love to get your opinion on him.
Yeah, another receiver that you just kind of expected to do well. He's been hurt though. Kind of like Treylon Burks, they're kind of in the same boat here, and they've both been hurt. But whereas Treylon Burks doesn't have much ahead of him on the depth chart, I gotta say Jameson Williams' competition is immense. He's got Amon-Ra St. Brown, Sam Laporta, and Jahmyr Gibbs, who are all super young guys that are producing big numbers. That I just don't think that there's room for Jameson Williams to make a spot for himself on that team unless one of them gets out of there at some point. And he only gets over 5 points when he scores a touchdown in the past 2 years. So honestly, it's not looking like he does a lot unless he scores a touchdown. He is not a guy that I would want on my team. For you, are you a believer in Bryce Young? He's one of the rookie quarterbacks that we're just not sure about. What do you think?
I'm a believer in Bryce Young, but I'm not a believer in the Panthers. And I don't think there's much else to really say. He really only has Adam Thielen as a receiving target. I mean, there's not much left over there. No O-line. There's really not a receiving upside running back. He's got Miles Sanders and Chuba Hubbard. I mean, not really much going on in the backfield. And it kind of just looks like a wasted pick on paper. I don't think it ends up being a wasted pick. But, I think that the Panthers could turn around, get a guy like Caleb Williams. It's the same story for him. And they're like, oh, what the heck do we do with this guy? Like, I don't know. So I'm a big believer in Bryce Young, not the Panthers, not the organization. But for you, a quarterback, Will Levis.
Yeah, honestly, I like him a lot. He's got a crowded QB room that he's competing with Tannehill there. He's got Malik Willis there. But he seems, I don't know, they seem to like him. So maybe they like him enough that they just keep giving him shots. He has shown this greatness before, but he has also shown his low floor that he has. He has scored, he went from scoring 38 points to scoring 6 points, which, it's a rookie quarterback, so the 6 points can be, predicted a little bit, but the 38 points shows promising. So I would say maybe I'm kind of in the middle. Towards yes, though, he will make it and be well. I would acquire but not pay top dollar for him. For you, though, the Packers receiver, I like the Packers. Dontavian Wicks, what do you think?
He's getting decent volume behind Christian Watson and Romeo Doubs, but again, not enough. He's playing 40% of the snaps as a rookie. That's not terrible, but there's really not much going for him right now. Maybe for Dynasty, he may be okay. I like the chemistry with Jordan Love, but I don't see him finishing this year as a great receiver. Maybe in the future he'll be all right. But that's going to do it for our first quarter here on Fantasyland. When we come back, players who have been hot and players who have been not. Coming right up after the break on Fantasyland.
If you need to do something to feel okay to drive, you're not okay to drive. Don't drive buzzed.
Shine on that boy.
Look at the bling. Do we got a diamond tester on?
Yeah, that's getting bad. Yep. 10 out of 10 recommend on Yelp.
Score going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. What? I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
I'm playing with these new face filters.
Okay, you know what? Yep, that's mine.
Kevin, I need that back.
No.
Kevin!
Welcome back to Fantasyland. We talked about who we should add to our teams, but now it's time to look at guys who have either been balling or not balling. Matt, who has been balling recently?
Who's been balling? That guy, C.D. Lamb. Oh my gosh. Since the bye, 41 points, 28.1 points, 39.5 points. That's he's the wide receiver 5 in the year. That's the wide receiver 1, the wide receiver 2, and the wide receiver 2 again in the last 3 weeks. He's got the Cardinals coming up. It's a tough secondary, so you may see not the Cardinals, Carolina coming up, excuse me. The tough secondary may see an uptick in the run game, but CeeDee Lamb has been balling right now.
Yeah, absolutely. For me, I got Javonte Williams. He has been hot. He has been looking good. And honestly, the Broncos have been winning games. I don't know how they're doing it. It seems to be their defense, I think. But, they utilize him. He scored 22 before their bye week. Then they had the bye week, and obviously he was off. And then he scored 24 last week against the Bills. I mean, they're beating the Bills. They're beating teams, and they're doing it by utilizing him. So what is Sean Payton going to do? Continue to utilize him. Who do you got next?
This whole entire Texas offense. They need to be mentioned. 2 weeks ago, Stroud pops off. Tank Dell gets the wide receiver 1. Noah Brown was like the wide receiver 3 or 4, right behind him. And then Nico Collins has been really solid as well. And I never, ever, ever in my entire life did I ever think I'd see Devin Singletary be the running back 3 on a week. They have been insane the last couple weeks. Hats off to C.J. Stroud and the Houston Texans.
Yeah, absolutely. They've been balling for sure. My next guy has got to be Rachaad White. He has been super hot. He scored 18 3 weeks ago, then 31, and then 23. So he has been scoring about 20 plus points in the past 3 weeks. He gets 45 yards receiving in each of those games or more, and then over 10 yards per catch. So each time he catches the ball, he's averaging over 10 yards, which is really good, especially for a running back. And he is seeing about a 75% snap share, which is also really good. Who do you got next?
We're gonna go into the not hots. It's Cooper Kupp, which I like the Devin Singletary. I never thought I'd be saying Cooper Kupp in a not hot segment. 6.9 points, 6.1 points, 6.8 points in his last 3. He comes back off the IR to a flaming hot start, and he had really tough defenses in Dallas and Green Bay. But again, it's Cooper Kupp. He really shouldn't be having these struggles. I think after Kyren Williams returns, the offense will be rolling again, and Matthew Stafford kind of gets things back on track.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Hopefully he gets it back together. For me, another guy that I just did not expect to say, especially going into the year, but Tony Pollard has not been that guy. He did well week 1, but the past 3 weeks he scored 6.5, 9.5, and then 5.5. He hasn't done better than running back 10 since that week 1 game. He didn't even get a single reception last game. So honestly, he's been struggling. Definitely not hot. He's gotten doused with water, honestly, at this point. What about you?
Breece Hall. And we saw this kind of at the beginning of the season. They let Breece Hall work back into this offense. Not great games. They cut him loose, and he goes off for like 25 and 30. And then the last 2, he puts up 2 10-pointers. It's not terrible, but it's not the hotness that he was at. And ACL tears are tough. So it will take him a while to be the Breece Hall he was last year. He's shown glimpses of it. So I trust Breece Hall that he will get back up to the full work volume.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. Up next, I got Lamar Jackson. He scored 14, 11.5, and then 17. He has a 2-to-2 touchdown to interception ratio altogether in those 3 games, and that includes rushing touchdowns. So he has thrown for 2 touchdowns, and he has thrown 2 interceptions, and that's about all he's done. And that's not enough out of Lamar Jackson when you're expecting a top 5, maybe top 3 type of fantasy guy. Last game, he only completed 13 of his 23 pass attempts. So really not what we want out of him. Now that we have discussed some guys who have been not great recently, it doesn't necessarily mean that you should get rid of them. Just give them some time, and they should get back to performing for you. But it has been rough recently for Pollard owners like me.
I mean, I'm a Pollard owner as well, but I'm gonna keep my faith in him. We're going to throw things to a quick break. Ryan and I reveal our teams from last show's head-to-head when Fantasyland returns.
Say, President Stanley, whenever there's bad weather, who would you turn to?
I'd turn to Storm Team 10.
No,
right
but you've
here.
got to say it like this. Storm Team 10. Say it with me. Storm Team 10.
Roll it.
Jill
Should
told
we
me it
tell
was
him?
Kitty from Glee. Yeah, what is
It's
it?
Al Roker.
And welcome back to Fantasyland. Just 2 short weeks ago, Ryan and I drafted teams live on air to go head-to-head over the last 2 weeks.
However, because the drafts were eerily similar, we did a new draft off camera. Here are our teams and how they did against each other. So these are our teams. You asked me to draft. We drafted. I took Tommy Tremble. Of course, I had to stick with my guy. He is my #1 guy. And yeah, I mean, what were you thinking when you drafted that team? Obviously, I beat you by 0.1, which is 1 yard. But you know, what were you thinking?
I mean, looking at my team, there's really not much that I kind of would have changed. I mean, like, you have the best available in each of their positions. Hollywood Brown, really the biggest disappointment on here. And a 1 yard loss for me, come on. Like, that's so tough. So, you know, I get punished yet again. I moved to 0-2. It is what it is. I'll just pack my bags and I don't know, Ryan. What's my punishment?
So Matt, since I won, I'll be choosing your punishment, which will be singing "You Belong With Me" by Taylor Swift karaoke style. But there's a catch.
Oh.
You have to
Always
sing
a
it
catch.
to the tune of an old Western honky-tonk song.
Oh, okay. Let's head over to our stage. Oh, brother.
I'm going to enjoy this. Let me tell you. Absolutely.
Mr. Travis Kelce, this one's going to go out to you. Oh, okay, I like this beat. All right, here we go. You're on the phone with your girlfriend. She's upset. She's going off about something that you said, 'cause she doesn't get your humor like I do. Where we at, Ryan?
About 2 minutes.
I'm in a room.
Yeah, I gotta
It's
keep
a
going.
typical Tuesday night. I'm listening to the music she doesn't like, and she'll never know your story like I do. But she wears short skirts and I wear t-shirts. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers, dreaming about the day when you wake up and find out what you're looking for has been here the whole time. And then you can see that I'm the one that understands. You've been here all along, so why can't you see? Travis Kelce, you belong with me. You belong with me, and not Taylor Swift. Okay, we got the second verse coming up. Walking the streets with you in your worn out jeans. I can't help thinking this is how it ought to be. Laughing on a park bench, thinking to myself, hey, isn't this easy? You've got a smile that can light up this whole town. I haven't seen you in a while since he brought you down. You know what, Ryan?
Yes, sir. Are you done?
She wears high heels, I wear sneakers. She's cheer captain and I'm on the bleachers, dreaming about the day when you wake up and find that what you're looking for has been here the whole time. You can see that I'm the one that understands you. Been here all along, so why can't you see? you belong with me.
All right.
Standing by
You're
and
good.
waiting
All right,
at your
all right.
back door. Why
All
can't
right.
you
Coming up
say
after the break, some turkey talk right here on Fantasyland.
Hey there, I'm Al Roker, class of 76. Yes, way back in 76. Back when the earth was cooling. You're watching WTOP.
The Kinda Late Show with Chloe and Anna. Like licorice, Twizzlers, absolutely nasty. The thought of turkey is just nauseating.
I think you're wrong, is what I think.
You think I'm wrong a lot of times.
I do think you're wrong a lot.
When you look at the number of disasters in the U.S., chances are every area will deal with some kind of emergency in the next decade. And between school, sports, and social lives, chances are you won't be with your kids when it happens. Will they know what to do? Ready.gov/kids has the educational tools and information to make the conversation easy. When the time comes, chances are they'll feel prepared, not scared. So talk with your family today.
Put the keys down, Kevin.
But I'm gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
I guess I have really been looking for love in this dating app. Yep, I'm definitely gonna call a ride home.
Howdy, partner. Welcome back to Fantasyland. And a week from tomorrow is one of the most overlooked holidays of a calendar year. It's Thanksgiving. One thing that is not overlooked about the holiday is 3 football games being played as we stuff our big old fat faces. So Ryan, what matchups from these 3 games are you most excited to see?
I'm really excited to see what Jahmyr Gibbs has in store for us. I mean, he's another hot player that we were talking about before, but I wanted to have him here instead because he's playing on Thanksgiving. 27 points, 33 points, and 26 points the last 3 games. He's been doing really well. I think it's his time to prove himself, though, in front of a crowd. You know, everybody's watching this. It's a rivalry game against the Packers, and he's just got to prove himself. I think this is his time to, show what he can do to, honestly, everybody that's watching, which is countrywide at this point for this game.
Right. And for me, it's same team, different name. I'm on Ross St. Brown. He's the number 7 wide receiver on the year. I want to just bring up your take from the last show where DJ Moore is the best wide receiver in his division. He's now the wide receiver 8. So thank you for saying that I'm right. Wide receiver 3 last year on Thanksgiving on the Turkey Bowl. He had 9 receptions for 122 yards and a touchdown. I think he pops off again.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Another guy who's been balling. I mean, I just keep balling with these guys. But 13, 24, 22.5 for George Kittle. Honestly, I see it could be a high-scoring game against the Seahawks. The Seahawks, their defense is all right, but it's really their offense that gets them these wins. So it's not going to be like a 3-9 game like the Jets-Giants a couple weeks ago. It's going to be more like high-scoring than that. So Kittle probably gets a touchdown, and he always shines on prime time.
Right, and where I'm looking at with this Seattle defense is in their secondary. Really up close and up on the line, there's not much going on. So with Christian McCaffrey, I'm going same team, different name again. He just ended his touchdown streak. I know he was very upset about that, but he's going to pop off. Come on. The streak's going to happen again in 2 weeks. Thanksgiving, Christian McCaffrey, come on. It's Christian McCaffrey. He's going to go crazy, and I have nothing else said about him.
Yeah, absolutely. And a tough matchup that I want to let you guys know, Sam Howell, who has been fantastic this year. He has been really good. Honestly, one of my favorite new quarterbacks in the league. Up there with Stroud, I would say, just play-wise and how he's been doing. But he's playing against the Cowboys, so it is time for him to prove himself against a tough defense. And like I said, America's watching, especially the Cowboys game, so he better get it done.
I would be put to shame if I didn't go with my boy Dak Prescott. Yeehaw! The Dakinator in his last 4, QB1, 3, 2, and the QB1 again. Dak has been for real the last couple of weeks. The Cowboys have been for real all year. They play a porous Washington defense. I think Dak is going to pick them apart, especially on Thanksgiving. It's his game. It really is going to be his game.
And while we're on this theme of Thanksgiving, it is time to say, who are we thankful for? And for me, I've thought about everybody. I'm thankful for Josh Jacobs. I drafted him 3rd round. He has been running back 4 this year, 16 points per game, 3 receptions per game. He had a slow start, and I was like, oh no, not this. And then he was really good last year. He puts up 9 points the first 2 games. He just scores 9 points. But since then, he got it going. He's been doing well, and he seems to be the best player on that team. Who are you thankful for?
Calvin Ridley. Calvin Ridley. Not actually. This is a thank you for nothing letter to Calvin Ridley. We went on this 2 weeks ago. I had drafted you in the 3rd round at the 2-3 turn, Calvin, and you have disappointed me. And I thank you for that. I needed to be humbled, and you did that. You had that great week, you got my expectations up, and you've sucked since. So thank you, Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know we could write thank you notes for guys that we're not thankful for, but I am not thankful for Miles Sanders. I drafted him 7th round. He is running back like 50, like 52, something like that. He's gotten like 7 points per game. He's got a 45% snap share. They said before the season started, oh yeah, this guy, 3 down back, we'll be giving it to him all 3 downs. And you know what he has? A 45% snap share. What's he gonna do with that? 7 points per game is what he's gonna do with that. He's averaging 9 rushes per game. He's getting nothing. He's getting the scraps from Chuba Hubbard at this point. He's nothing. Who else are you thankful for or not thankful for?
I am thankful for Tank Dell for being such a great rookie wide receiver and filling in for my spot for Jay Jettas because I lost him. I lost Jay Jettas. Maybe he'll be back this week. And Calvin Ridley has not been doing an adequate job. So thank you, Tank Dell, for actually being a viable wide receiver for fantasy football. You've been doing great. Continue the good work.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I got another thank you note. I want to end on a thank you note. Keenan Allen, I love you, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, I drafted in the 5th round a couple weeks ago. I was playing against my dad in fantasy football, right? We're in a league, a family league, and he needed to outscore Justin Herbert, and he and the Chargers defense got it done. My dad's team is the number 1 in the league, but I beat him with Keenan Allen. So Keenan Allen, wide receiver 2 in the league on the year, 99 yards per game, just under 100, looking great.
I'm going to send my final thank you to Mr. Darren Waller, the glass house that he is. High expectations. This one more so comes from a Giants fan and just the sadness. I mean, you see, I rep it on my tie. So Darren Waller, this is from a hurt Giants fan who is hurt that you are hurt. I wish you a speedy recovery. I thank you for joining our team in the offseason, and I thank you for sticking to your roots and getting hurt yet again. So thank you, Darren Waller. That's going to do it for our final segment of the night. From the Al Roker Studio, I'm Matt Sharamita.
And I'm Ryan Skinner. Thank you for tuning in to Fantasyland. Have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy your time with family. And you know what? Have some turkey. Honestly, have some turkey, have some gravy, have some stuffing. Enjoy it all. You know what? Let that belt loose for a little bit. Enjoy it all.
Gobble, gobble.